Update. Am I being a bridezilla by asking my best friend's partner to not propose at my wedding? Original post. I'm getting married in April. We got engaged at Christmas, but in January, my dad was given 5 months max after being taken off chemo for it not working. I will preface this by saying I never wanted the big white wedding. I am not a fan of being center stage. My best friend of 14 plus years, 26 female, is the polar opposite of me. My partner and I have been super busy with work, so we allowed my parents to plan the wedding. His parents are out of the country on vacation but have had input. My dad wanted a bigger celebration, as this will be the last chance he gets to celebrate. I am obviously heartbroken and want to give him exactly what he wants. I chose my bridesmaids, and my partner chose his best man and groomsmen. My best friend is one of my bridesmaids, and my niece is my other. From the day I asked her, my best friend has been finding dresses. Not a problem. I've said all along that I just want them to feel comfortable, so they can wear what they want. I am paying. Some of the dresses were questionable, but I honestly didn't have the heart to tell her. The men's suits were all chosen, and everyone was happy. A little side note here, my parents have never been a fan of my best friend. They think she's an attention seeker and a bit of a tart. They accepted my choice because they know I love her to bits. Last week when we went to see her, she had a baby recently, so I love going to see the little one. She mentioned, I think Paul, her partner, is going to propose at your wedding, and she was getting all excited. She kept saying how she wanted it to be a perfect proposal, and that we have the perfect venue. That is true. The venue is stunning. On the way home from seeing her, I was talking to my partner and said that I didn't want Paul to propose at the wedding, as we were already celebrating a wedding and my dad, and I didn't want to take away from that. I reached out and tried to explain this to my best friend. I texted, "Hey, gorgeous. It was so lush to see you and Mr. Roman. He's gotten so big. Can I just air something that's really played on my mind? I absolutely don't want to upset you in any way. And you know I've given you and Savanya free reign with everything from dress to accessories and everything. I also haven't asked you to pay for anything, so you've got a free room for the night and everything paid for. Basically, I'm just a bit hurt that you are planning on getting engaged at my wedding. It's a day that is less about me and more about my dad being able to celebrate with people who cherish him. We are already celebrating 2 things, the wedding and my dad. I was just hoping you'd maybe ask Paul to not propose at the wedding." Her reply, "If you're going to be a bridezilla, I don't want to be part of your rushed wedding. If you can't stand other people getting attention, you're really pathetic and need to get over yourself. Here is where I may be the bridezilla or the a-hole." My response, "I'm truly sorry you feel like I've been a bridezilla or an a-hole. I've tried to be accommodating and as flexible as possible. You've had your choice of dress, shoes, hair, makeup, and accessories, all of which were paid for by me, and we have accommodated bringing your baby, which of course we would as we love you. You know I don't like major attention, but this is my family and my friends, and they're coming to our wedding. If you're so desperate for the attention to be on you, perhaps it's best you're not there. I'm sorry that this hasn't worked out. I'm truly heartbroken. But this day needs to be perfect for my dad." Her last response, which I didn't reply to, "Your dad's gonna die. He won't even be here to give a damn." I don't mind losing her over this, but I'm heartbroken and now thinking I may have been a bridezilla. Now for the top comments before reading the updates. "Your dad's gonna die. He won't be here to give a damn. Are you sure this is a friendship worth saving? Like, who the heck says that? That is not your friend. Hell no, your bestie is a raging, heartless, jealous, selfish zilla, and sure as heck not your friend or bestie. There is zero way you're going to avoid this unless you uninvite both of them. These people are attention-seeking AF, and if you think they'll respect you after she's more excited for her proposal at, your wedding, if you go ahead with inviting them, then yeah, expect your big day and your dad's final celebration to turn into your bestie's proposal day, which, plot twist, you and your parents have paid for. In other news, seriously, why is this person your friend? Let alone your bestie? Your parents are 100% right about her, and then some. She doesn't give a damn about you. Forget her and make better friends who actually love and support you. Yikes. Hope your wedding is amazing and free of this mess, and I hope your dad has an amazing time watching his daughter get married. Definitely tell the boyfriend, at least about the planned proposal, and that they are not welcome. Good chance he's a decent person who's been suckered just like OP. Mini update. 1. I no longer want this girl in my life, let alone the wedding. She's a vile human being. 2. I have always been that one girl she gets at. I've never had much luck making friends, so I think that's why I've always accepted crappy treatment. 3. Partner hates her and has hated her since they met. 4. I am gonna send a message and block. She's done. Now for the full update. He was going to leave her, not propose. So my partner and I reached out to him and asked him to meet in a neutral place. We chose the park near his house. He agreed to meet us, alone. Side note, we live about 2 hours apart since I moved out of my parents' home, and we relocated to a different city. I travel most weekends to see my parents. I showed him the messages from the screenshots shown in my last post, and he was raging. Paul was so angry at what had been said. Then he turned to us and said, I actually wanted to leave her, but I was waiting until after the wedding so I wouldn't ruin the day for you and your dad. We had a long chat. Paul and my partner have a lot in common, and he's always been great to both of us. We drove him home and left. And during the 2-hour drive back, I felt relieved. I've never felt so stress-free. I had no one to try and please. And who needs an egg-sucking bridesmaid anyway? Paul rang when we got home. They've split up. She tried to deny the messages but didn't delete them from her phone, so he knew it was true. He told her he was repulsed and had already been planning to leave after she was unkind to his mom, who is also ill. Paul wants an amicable split for the sake of their baby, so he may be getting lawyers involved. My dad is over the moon. He's heartbroken that I've lost pretty much my only friend, but he's so glad she's gone. He's taking things day by day, and we are giving him the best life we possibly can. We took him suit shopping, and he looks absolutely incredible. My mom hasn't found her dress yet, but we are planning a special girls' day out soon. Dresses, a spa day, and just an overall celebration of love. I love when the trash takes itself out, lol. I'm so glad you and your dad were able to go suit shopping, and that you'll have a stress-free wedding. And get a front row seat to Karma. What a hoot! I'd pay for that ticket to him breaking up with her. I'm so glad you spoke to Paul and he's leaving her. Hopefully he gets custody of their baby. Block her on absolutely everything. Make sure your fiancé and any family that has her also blocks her. Hire security for the wedding. She will show up to cause problems. Especially since her ex is going, that will have her seething. Definitely have security. So glad her dad gets to know his daughter's toxic friend is out of her life, and that she'll have a wonderful partner by her side in life. Wishing OP a wonderful, stress-free wedding and many more good friendships in the future. Third update. 1. Passwords with vendors, all secured. 2. Paul is still coming, either alone or with a friend or someone else. He deserves a break. 3. Paul is going to tell her parents, who are massively religious, massively strict, and will not tolerate bullies. Next story. Am I the a-hole? My husband doesn't think having parents to stay should be a house buying consideration. I, 41 female, live with my husband, 45 male, in a UK seaside holiday destination. We've been looking to move house for a couple of years, and I thought we had similar considerations. We spiraled into an argument today over my dream of having a house, where our extended family could come for beach holidays, even while we're working. My husband is an introvert who works remotely. I am an ambivert who can only work from home 1 day a week. So this dream of mine would mean having a house where he could work undisturbed by any family who might come to stay. I was thinking of a garden office or something like that. We've talked about this sort of thing before, but I didn't realize he had a problem with my parents staying. He said he's fine with either of our siblings and their families staying whenever, since they'll be out during the day. But he doesn't want my parents in the house while he's working. His live 5 minutes away, mine 3.5 hours away. For context, my parents did walk behind him on a video call once. He was in the kitchen instead of his office and rang the doorbell after I asked them not to when I was on another call. I had given them a key. So he says he doesn't trust them not to interrupt him. They've never gone out of their way to disturb him. The few times I can recall have been accidents. He says that having a dream where my parents can come to stay whenever they like while he's working from home and I'm out at the office means I'm only happy when he's being made uncomfortable. To be clear, they wouldn't be coming unannounced or anything like that. My example is, there's a heat wave forecast, and I can't take the time off, but they want to come down to the beach. The two main things we're arguing about and the reason I'm here are, 1. He said buying a house with other people in mind is stupid. I agree that I shouldn't have said it was a priority and have apologized. I clarified that I want us to find a house that's perfect for our needs and then share it with the people we love. We're fortunate to live in a holiday destination, and I'd love to share that good fortune, particularly with my parents while they're still alive. They're in their 70s. 2. He can't understand why I'd want my parents to stay while I'm out working during the day. He thinks my reasoning is irrational, and that if I tried to explain it to anyone, they'd agree with him. So here goes. While most of the time, I can take days off when my parents visit. They're retired and could visit more often. It's a long drive, so coming for a longer stay less often makes it more worth it for them, and less tiring. A week instead of a weekend, not weeks or months. For me, it would give the illusion of them living nearby for a while. I know this part sounds silly, but I like the idea of them being around after work. I'd rather see them all day, but seeing them after work a bit more often would make it feel like they were closer. So, am I the a-hole, and how can I approach a compromise? Now for the top comments. You're the a-hole. Your husband is letting you know that he is not interested in any of this mess. It sounds like you could be overlooking other intrusive behavior by your parents because you aren't home to see it, and or because you don't want to see it. Also, who wants their house to become a vacation destination for extended family all the time? Hotels were created for a reason. Thirdly, he works from home. I would not want the disruption of having people at my house while I'm working from home. It is distracting at best. Is your next suggestion going to be that your parents move into the garden office? I think it's on my mind because they are getting older, and I realize that my available time with them is getting shorter, not because I want them over all the time. They'd drive me crazy if they stayed too long, the same as if I stayed at theirs too long. Also, I'm not angling to sneakily move my parents in. Since all our parents are in their 70s and 80s, we've already talked about what would happen if either of our sets of parents couldn't live independently anymore. You're the a-hole. He doesn't want your parents staying at the house. Majority of people don't enjoy their in-laws staying, to be honest. Yeah, I'm good for a day visit or an overnight stay. After that, I want you to go home. Not everyone wants or enjoys long-term guests. It's like the old joke of, guests and leftovers should be thrown out after a week for the same reason. You're the a-hole. Just because it was an accident when they interrupted him doesn't make it any less of an interruption. As someone who works from home full-time, having anyone extra in the house is a disruption. Go to the kitchen to make lunch? Someone else is there. Try to take a call? Someone walks through. Go grab a cup of coffee? Someone is in the way or wants to chat. They're your parents. They're yours to entertain. Ringing the doorbell when you've been specifically asked not to is not an accident. They just don't care. Last story. Am I the a-hole for not involving myself with my in-laws' baby loss 3 years running? My sister-in-law had a stillbirth 3 years ago. We were saddened and offered support. She has 3 living children from before this happened. At Christmas before the 1-year anniversary, she opened our Christmas card. A few moments later, she picked it back up, stated that she couldn't display it unless her baby's name was included, and proceeded to write their name in the card. I tried to put it to the back of my mind, but honestly, I felt she could have taken the card home and written their name to avoid making me an example in front of the entire family. For the first anniversary, we were asked if we would come to a memorial. We all went and felt very awkward. My sibling was stillborn, and I grew up in a household that didn't talk about it. Whenever my siblings and I tried to ask questions about our stillborn sibling, our mother would shut us down. For the second anniversary, we were again asked to attend. We went, my husband's brother didn't, but again found it very awkward. During family gatherings, she makes excessive comments and social media posts about how nothing feels right without her angel baby being there. My other sister-in-law and I find it upsetting because we cannot help that our children survived, while one of hers didn't. She has 3 other healthy children to care for. During a family gathering, she made a comment that her living children recently asked her who her favorite was, and she responded that her angel baby was her favorite. The room went silent. As a child who was repeatedly told, with much venom, that I wouldn't have been born had my sibling survived, that broke me. Note, I've never lost a baby myself, but I am the sibling of a stillborn baby. So anniversary 3 rolled around recently. Again, we were asked to attend a memorial, although this time, she called it a birthday, which struck me as odd. We felt it was too much for us to go through again, after attending the first 2. We decided not to go, but I chose to light a candle and wore my angel wings brooch for the week before and after the passing date as a tribute. We've now received a message from mother-in-law, stating that my sister-in-law is very upset with us all because we didn't make the effort and that we should apologize. While I understand that she's still grieving, she is able to do so in her own way. And if others choose to grieve differently, then that's okay too. I don't believe you can dictate how others grieve, nor can you have a monopoly on grief. Everyone is different, and I respect that she wants to do a grand gesture each year, but she needs to accept that not everyone wants to or feels comfortable being a part of it. I feel like this isn't my direct loss to continue grieving so openly. Yes, I feel sad because it's a loss of life, but at what point do we stop mentioning it all the time? Not the a-hole. Your sister-in-law needs some serious help. The loss of a child in this way is extremely sad, I know firsthand, and grieving is part of that. But 3 years? That is not healthy, and is clearly damaging her other children and probably her marriage. The rest of the family either doesn't see this as a problem, and they need help too, or is simply enabling her problem by going along to avoid dealing with it. But everyone needs to sit your sister-in-law down and get her to seek the help she clearly needs. It's the damage she's doing to her living children that is so sad. Those poor kids. Everyone grieves differently, but she's consumed by her loss and expects everyone to wallow with her. Time for intensive therapy. Exactly. Plus the fact that sister-in-law said that her favorite child is the angel baby. Imagine how her living children must have felt hearing that. Not the a-hole. Sounds like your sister-in-law needs professional help to process her grief. It's fine if she wants to honor her baby every year, but she needs to understand that not everyone feels the impact of her loss the same way. Also, it's probably not your place to comment on it, but what she said to her kids needs to be addressed because that's not okay.